going back to Bubba the Love Sponge. Now, of course, we did that show and all, but here recently, you went to Tampa Bay and actually hung out with Bubba.
Yeah, so
right?
Going into July 4th, Amanda and I were going to be without kids going into the weekend for the whole week of 4th of July, just the way it all worked out. So I was like, man, let's take a road trip. And I knew Bubba had this Bubba Army night he was doing with the Tampa Bay Tarpons, which is the minor league team there for the New York Yankees. And they had like the suite area, the Fifth Third Bank suite all set up. You had, open bar there, food and all that jazz. So I was like, you know what? The day before, I literally on Thursday, I bought the tickets, or Wednesday, I bought the tickets. We left Thursday, got down there. I told Bubba I was coming. He was pumped up about it. And, dude, that was an absolute blast. What was really cool, obviously I got to meet Bubba. He's phenomenal. Man, dude's a really, really cool cat, man. And, but was meeting all these Bubba Army legends that I'd heard call into the show so many times over the years. And, dude, they were so nice. It was so cool. They were very welcoming, and it wasn't like, who's this guy? It was like everybody was super cool. It's a nice little tight-knit family. Got to hang out with Anna and Lummy. I mean, dude, they're all just awesome people. It was an absolute blast. The highlight of it, though, is that in the ninth inning, the Tarpons are losing 3-0. And Bubba has been wearing out the whole bullpen, because we're right over the bullpen. And this one guy, he'd been calling Kenny Powers all night. He's a guy that gets up, starts warming up to come in and close it out in the ninth. I mean, he is absolutely killing this kid. I mean, it was hilarious. And I put that on Twitter.
Chad, I was going to say, Chad, you put that out on your Twitter. What's your Twitter handle for everybody
SRB
listening?
Trojan.
Yes, sir. And you can also go to @TigsBits Podcast on our Twitter, too. It's been shared on the show page as well. Please
absolutely.
continue.
So Bubba is just killing this cat, man. And he goes out there and he cannot find a strike. I mean, he walked 3 batters in that inning and then gave up a couple of hits. And next thing you know, man, Tampa wins the game 4-3 on a walk-off hit. with 2 outs at that point. I mean, that kid was rattled. I was
epic.
like, man, Bubba,
Wow.
you got him, man. You got
him. It worked.
It worked. Now,
he was in his head, Guns N' Roses, and what was him? We may have to cut this, but what did he say? What was it that he was saying?
Just asking me, hey, did you something that did Axl Rhodes make a stop in Texas out there to meet your mom? Is that really your dad?
God.
And, this poor kid's 19, 20, 23, 24 at the most. At the most. You typically, I think you're going to most of your minor league parks, you're not getting a whole lot of trash talk.
Yeah, right.
And then if you see this video, they're just like a bunch of vultures hovering over this bullpen, just talking trash. Fantastic.
Welcome to the friggin'
That is
show.
sports.
That's it, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you can't handle this, then you definitely can't.
There's nobody at
this
this game either. When I say nobody, literally the stands outside of where we are, we've got probably 120 people standing over this dude screaming, and the stadium is basically empty. I mean, there might be 50 to 75 people in the whole place.
Shut up. Only?
Huh?
There was less than 100 people there, you think?
Yes, except for us. And then it was about 120 in that one corner out there in left field over the bullpen. It's like vultures.
Wow. Yeah, hell, I went to a Rays game. I guess it was must have been just pre-pandemic. Justin and I went to a Rays game, and bro, there was less than 1,000 people in that big old.
It's crazy down there with the Rays, especially it's Major League Baseball, and
that's what we were thinking.
Team.
And they're good.
Yeah, and they were good. They were
really
good
good
during this too. Yeah, it was. I mean, there might have been 1,500 people, but in a big stadium that probably held 25,000 people.
You could hear conversations.
Why is that?
200 feet away.
Why is that?
Well, too much stuff to do.
Is the stadium in a bad location?
They're trying to move it to Tampa for years, and they got this long-term lease. I think it expires like in 2025. I mean, this was when I moved down there. It was a big topic. That was in 2011. And it's just so far and so hard to get over to St. Pete. I mean, if you live around the Tampa area, it's like an hour drive to go to the stadium, and that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? So it was, and it's 275. You're having to get on. And it's always just mangled up. It's the only road really that gets real bad. The rest of them flow nice, but it's just in a bad location. So until they get that changed,
Well, kind of like Six Flags of New Orleans. You know, imagine if they'd have put Six Flags in New Orleans over by the airport instead of on, you know, West Bank. You know, or East Bank. So
totally different deal.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Good point. Well, man, that was.
But that
and I believe. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I believe you got a commitment as well for Bubba to come on the show at some point.
Bubba said he'll come on the show. 100%. Yeah, I was asking that question. That's the only ask I had of him that night. But
hey, that's all that we need. Hey, that's good enough.